What if, what if the biggest obstacle isn't fear? What if it's your story? What if it's the story your mind tells you after joy arrives? What if, what if the biggest obstacle isn't fear? Okay, so I'm just going to edit that out in the once this comes out, but I'm starting over. What if your biggest obstacle isn't fear? What if it's the story your mind tells you after joy arrives? What if every time your soul lights up, your mind rushes in to explain, nope, why it's a bad idea, why it's too much, too unrealistic, why it's going to take too much time, too much money, energy, courage. And what if the very thing you're talking yourself out of is the doorway home? Hmm. Welcome to the Coming Home to You Sparkcast, the sanctuary for soul-led women who are remembering who they are, not by becoming more, but by embodying the expression of who they have always been. I am Margarita Rose, and here we explore healing, joy, remembrance, self-trust, conscious leadership, and what it really means to come home to yourself. This space is a sanctuary not for perfection, but for truth. But before we begin, I really want to start with a one breath together. So take a deep breath in your belly, feel the bottom of your stomach expanding out. As you take a deep breath in, hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe out for 6 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2. Just arrive here in this moment of remembering. So thank you for doing that with me. So something really happened for me this week that really caught my attention, right? I was creating and I was, doing it not because I had to, but because, it was something that I wanted to do, not a to-do list kind of thing, but not something that somebody told me that I had to do either. It was just something because I felt like there was something missing in what I was bringing to you and creating. And this one felt very joyful to me. I was building from vision, something new, this Wavecast series that I'm going to start. Um, and it got me really excited. I was exploring archetypes and visual images and face paint and costumes and really being able to express myself, music, about frequency, and then what would it feel like to really like just allow myself to be seen more, like fully in my truth and like my joy. And I was like, whoo, I was lit up. I was just like, that joy spark feels good. And then something happened. My body was lit up, alive, playful, curious, flowing, just like possibilities were just endless. And I was just, this feels good. And then my mind just all of a sudden was like, nope, mm-mm. It showed up and it said something to me, not in a dramatic way, not in a fearful way. It was like actually really practical. It was reasonable and it was, I think it felt responsible. I was like, no, girlfriend, maybe this is too much. Maybe you're trying to do too much and too many things all at once. Maybe simplify it. It's going to take a lot of your bandwidth. Do you have the bandwidth? Maybe it could be easier, Like, have you been there before where all of a sudden you're in a good space and your mind takes over? It was like, just stay in your lane. And I noticed something that, that very thing that was bringing me joy had been that was flowing so naturally started to like shrink and disappear. And that awareness like totally stopped me in my tracks. Not because I realized my mind wasn't trying to hurt me, it was really practically protecting me. That's the mind's job. The mind's job is not expansion, it's prediction. And the mind looks backwards, right? It's like, we have evidence back here. Do you remember? Like, here's a list. Here's the list. But the soul's gonna look forward. And the mind actually is gonna ask you, I don't, is this safe? Are we safe? Can we do this? What are you gonna say? Are we gonna be judged? But the soul, what I noticed was like, is this alive? Is this like exciting? Does this make us move forward? The mind's gonna ask like, uh, no, but I need to guarantee success. I need to guarantee that we're not gonna fail. I need to guarantee that we're not gonna be judged. But the soul's gonna be asking you, right? Does this feel true to me? Does it feel true in my soul? Usually you could tell because you're leaning forward. Just pay attention. And then I realized that many of us have spent so many years listening only to that little voice and not to our heart and our soul. Is that you? Have you ever talked yourself out of something that excites you? Maybe it was a dream, a relationship, a business idea, a creative project. Maybe it was a trip or an important conversation or just a conversation. What did your body feel right before your mind got involved? What actually lit you up about it? Like what felt expansive, what felt alive, what felt even playful. Sometimes it feels playful. I love that feeling. Just notice what story showed up immediately after that. What story showed up right when you started feeling expansion, playful, joyful. You're like, oh, this feels good. And then your mind practically comes in and goes, what was that story for you? What showed up right immediately after that? So pause and just think about it right now. I'm sure we have many, many moments like that. Just pick one, but do it. Think about it. Because for years I thought joy was a reward. I, I was like, I'm not, I haven't finished. I can't celebrate. I haven't done anything. Now I'm beginning to see that joy actually is the compass. Joy isn't what happens after we arrive. Joy helps us navigate. Not every joyful thing is meant to become a business. Me, okay, let's just give you that disclaimer real quick. And not every exciting thing is a life purpose. But joy is going to leave us clues. And it's going to point to us. It's going to nudge us. It's going to reveal and whisper, hey, hey, attention, pay attention. Hey, there's something here for you. Just pause. Hello. Do you hear me? It's going to say that to you. And when we constantly just ignore those little whispers, we start to disconnect from ourselves. Is that you? Have you been doing that? What if joy isn't frivolous? What if joy is intelligent? What if it actually contains information for you? What if joy is one of the ways that your soul is actually communicating? It's not the only way, but it's one way. What if your work isn't to blindly follow every little impulse? Maybe it's to become aware of when fear disguises itself as practicality, when protection is going to disguise itself as wisdom. Hey, a little wisdom here. Don't do that. We have evidence. Okay, when those old survival strategies are going to disguise themselves as the truth. Nope, nope. We've kept you safe so far. We know better. We know better. You know that, we know better crew. But because awareness is going to create choices. And once you see it, you can choose differently. So today I invite you to just ask yourself one question. One little question. Ask yourself, what is bringing me alive right now? Not yesterday, okay? And not what should bring you alive, not what used to bring you alive, or not what's going to bring me alive, not what everyone else says should matter. Like, what is genuinely lighting you up right now in this moment? And then ask what story immediately follows that spark, that joy spark. What is the story that immediately follows that? And write both of them down. Because awareness is key, but writing it down, it helps you remember. And you start to see the patterns and then the story. And that's where awareness starts to begin, right there, in the act of writing down and becoming aware. So maybe joy is more powerful than we ever been taught. Because I always say joy is a superpower. It sure feels that way to me. It's not a distraction. Joy is a signal. Joy is medicine. Joy, joy is soul's guidance. Maybe joy is one of the ways that we remember who we are. So maybe this week, your only job is to notice, not force, not fix, not try to figure it all out, because we we make everything more complicated. Are you one of those that make things harder than they have to be? Are you one of them? It's okay, me too. I see you. Right? But just simply notice. What is the thing that lights you up? What is it? What is the one thing that lights you up? For me, is going rollerblading. And I think when I think of going, the thought that immediately comes up is like, oh, I have to put my, going down the hill is hard. I am, it's going to be tired. It's going to take me away from the day. I have so much to do. Like, it's practical excuses that come up from taking me away from my joy. And so what I can do that feels maybe the thread that I can follow today for myself is after this podcast is put on a song or two, or maybe dance to a drum circle. Because last night I didn't get to go to the drum circle. They had closed a lot, and I was really looking forward to dancing, and that didn't happen. And so I got some dancing done yesterday for the full moon, and so I am going to do more of that today, and I am excited for that. And that brings me joy. What brings you joy? Like when I was creating this Wavecast series that I'm excited to bring to you soon, I was thinking about really allowing my inner child play, like the inner actress, the performer, the one who likes to express in different forms, because I believe that we all get to play. We take ourselves so seriously. We take ourselves so seriously. And so today, just notice what lights you up. What lights you up? And do more of that. Choose more of that. It's the compass home. It is your compass back home to you. And then when you choose to do something and you find yourself stopping, like what was that first thought? And write them down and keep writing them down and keep writing them down, and you start seeing the pattern, because it's time that you choose you. It's time that you choose joy. It is your birthright. It is a living, breathing, radiant circuit, and it's a superpower, and it's medicine, and it bears repeating. So smile today. Smile, even if it feels fake, just smile. Eventually, that smile will start to bring joy in your heart space and expand, and it'll become a real smile. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Smile at a stranger. Smile at your loved ones. Call and tell someone that you're thinking of them, or text them. Bring joy in your life by choosing it. Go on a walk. Go watch a sunset. One of my favorite things that bring me joy is the guttural belly laugh of a child. Joy is power. And the more I can look for evidence of joy in the world, because there is beauty, there is evidence of abundance everywhere, and beauty and joy and blessings. And so when I go out intentionally and I look for it, I start to find the evidence, because you find what you look for. And so I start looking for the evidence of joy in the world, and then I tap it in, because that's an energy medicine. Tap it in your joy, and then also put in your hands here when you are in awe and you're like, oh my gosh, this brings me so much joy. Even just the thought of creating lets your body know it's safe, and it calms your mind. You go, oh, we like this idea. We like this new idea, this new way of being seen. Because I think what ended up happening was I was afraid that I wasn't ready to express myself that way and be seen that way. Maybe I'd be judged or misunderstood. That was a big one for me. Was that a big one for you? Feeling like, nope. But the joy of playing dress up again, because I love Halloween, and I loved as a kid always to play dress up. Is that you? Did you love doing that? Like what? Share in the comments what lights you up. What is the thing that your child used to talk about doing all the your and when you were 8 years old, you were probably already talking about what you were going to do when you grow up, who you're going to be, how are you going to show up in the world. And then somewhere along the ways, we were told who to be in the world, and we started to disconnect from that inner knowing, that soul spark that we all were born with. So let today be the day that you follow your joy spark. That's your compass. That's your compass back home to you, to who you have always been. And it's time that we all start to remember. And it's seriously following your joy spark. Just follow it. Follow your joy spark road. So thank you. Thank you for joining me for another Embodied Leader episode of the Coming Home to You Sparkcast. If today's conversation resonated with you, I asked, please share it with a sister, or a friend or a family member or another just soul-led mama who really just needed the reminder that she's not alone and that she matters too. So remember, you're not behind. You are not broken. You're not even becoming somebody new. You are just remembering who you have always been. So keep rising, keep shining, keep coming home. Because coming home to you is not a destination, it's a devotion. Again, I am Margarita Rose, and I'll meet you here next week, same time, in the same Soul Spark channel. Remember, be kind to yourself and others.